Hey everybody, Ross here, and this is Bible Study Superstar. If this is your first time on this channel, click here to go back to the intro, and if you would just like to see what's happened recently, click here to go back to Genesis 7. Now without further ado, I'm just going to jump right on in to Genesis 8, verse 1. Then God remembered Noah, and every living thing, and all the animals that were with him in the ark. And God made a wind to pass over the earth, and the waters subsided. The fountains of the deep and the windows of heaven were also stopped, and the rain from heaven was restrained. And the waters receded continually from the earth. At the end of the 150 days, the waters decreased. Then the ark rested in the 7th month, the 17th day of the month, on the mountains of Ararat. And the waters decreased continually until the 10th month. In the 10th month, on the 1st day of the month, the tops of the mountains receded. So it came to pass, at the end of 40 days, that Noah opened the window of the ark which he had made. Then he sent out a raven, which kept going to and fro until the waters had dried up from the earth. He also sent out from himself a dove, to see if the waters had receded from the face of the ground. But the dove found no resting place for the sole of her foot, and she returned into the ark to him, for the waters were on the face of the whole earth. So he put out his hand and took her, and drew her into the ark to himself. And he waited yet another 7 days, and again he sent the dove out from the ark. Then the dove came to him in the evening, and behold, a freshly plucked olive leaf was in her mouth. And Noah knew that the waters had receded from the earth. So he waited yet another 7 days, and sent out the dove, which did not return again to him any more. And it came to pass, in the 601st year, in the 1st month, the 1st day of the month, that the waters were dried up from the earth. And Noah removed the covering of the ark, and looked, and indeed the surface of the ground was dry. And in the 2nd month, on the 27th day of the month, the earth was dried. Then God spoke to Noah, saying, Go out of the ark, you and your wife, and your sons wives with you. Bring out with you every living thing of all flesh that is with you, birds and cattle, and every creeping thing that creeps on the earth, so that they may abound on the earth, and be fruitful and multiply on the earth. So Noah went out, and his sons and his wife and his sons' wives with him, every animal, every creeping thing, every bird, and whatever creeps on the earth, according to their families, went out of the ark. Then Noah built an altar to the Lord, and took of every clean animal, and of every clean bird, and offered burnt offerings on the altar. And the Lord smelled a soothing aroma. And the Lord said in his heart, I will never again curse the ground for man's sake, although the imagination of man's heart is evil from his youth. Nor will I again destroy everything, every living thing, as I have done. While the earth remains, seed time and harvest, cold and heat, winter and summer, and day and night shall not cease. Now I know this is going to sound like a really random point, and it really is. But I wonder that if God had not stopped the flood at any point, would the ark have ended up floating out into space? Now, like I said, I know that's a really random point, but I'm a science fiction author by trade, and this is just the kind of random things I think about. Moving on to something more substantial, notice the very first thing Noah did whenever he exited the ark. He built an altar and worshipped the Lord and praised him for his faithfulness and offered as big of a sacrifice as he could manage. In the same way, whenever we come out of a very trying time in our lives, let's not forget to praise the Lord for His faithfulness, His provision, and His power throughout that trying time. Too often, Christians, whenever they come out of such a time, just say, oh good, it's over. Those are the people that miss what God was trying to show and do in them through that trying time. So let's not be one of those people. Moving on again. Now that the population of the world, both people and animals, was reduced to so few, God reissued His command to be fruitful and multiply. Now, I get the feeling that the people and animals of the world would have done that anyway, but God's very thorough. And finally, because of Noah's obedience and service, God said that He would never again curse the ground or destroy every living thing by flood, and that the days and the seasons and the years and day and night would be consistent while the earth remains. This shows again how one man's stand for God and His standards changed history. If Noah had not loved and served God, none of us may actually exist today, because God would have destroyed the entire human race within the flood. And that's all I have for today. Thanks for watching. If you have any comments or suggestions, I'd love to hear them below, either in a video response or in the comments. Again, thanks for watching, and I will see you all soon in Genesis 9.